Hi everyone, Ann Butler here with Bella Crafts Publishing. We are doing another fabulous technique project today. Lisa is not here with me today. She is going on a much needed vacation. She is heading to the beach as we speak, and she will be gone for a month. She will be doing a live next week at noon, and I'll be live at 2. But today, as she was traveling, it was like, yeah, just enjoy all that beautiful weather. So I want to share with you that I am using Decofoil Transfer Gel today. It's Transfer Gel Duo, and it works so cool. I mean, you all know how much I love foiling, right? So I wanted to try it in a different way without toner papers. So I am actually using some of my stencils with StencilGirl, and I have a variety of stencils, and this is just one of them. But before we get started, I want to let you all know that for those of you that don't know, we do a free publication 4 times a year. Currently, I'm working on the fall issue, and that will be out mid-September. And we also do ebooks. So since Lisa's not here, I will put links for everything in after my live, although I did copy and paste. Hi, Isabel. How are you? I did copy and paste to remind everybody to like, comment, and share with the hashtag BellaCrafts so that they can be entered for the giveaway this week. And the giveaway will be a goodie package from us, which will be filled with some products from ThermoWeb. And I don't know how many of you have ever tried this transfer gel. It is a different way of doing foiling, but you can also do flocking with this. So ThermoWeb has some plush paper. So if you transfer that onto cardstock with this, it has a flocked effect, which is really cool. And there's so many possibilities. Unless you're playing with your products, you really don't know. So you just have to come and play with us sometimes. So this is the product we're using today, along with, like I said, some of my stencils with StencilGirl. StencilGirl has, oh my goodness, I think they have like 30 different artists they work with. So anything you want, whatever genre, check them out. They have got such a nice variety. But I am going to switch my camera down so we can get started. And there we go. So Isabel, you've used transfer gel for foiling through stencils. Haven't used it for flocking. You have a lot of flock powders. Well, I haven't tried the powders. I've not even seen the powders. But Decofoil actually has a plush paper. So this is an easy way to do it. So I'll show you how to do that. I haven't seen the powders. I'll have to check those out because I haven't seen those. But the transfer gel is, you can do it with heat or without. I am doing it with a hot laminator today, but you could do it with your die cutting machine. And my die cutting machine is so big, it's just easier to have the laminator up here. So these are a couple of my larger stencils with StencilGirl. And here's just a couple of my smaller ones. I think I have about, 30 or more stencils with StencilGirl. This one, I love that one. And everybody seems to love the circles. So we're going to play with some of those today. And then here is the plush paper. Now this comes in a variety of colors. I just grabbed 3 of them today. So I have this beautiful teal, this green, and this blush pink. And you'll have to check it out. They have a variety of colors. And then for foils, of course, they have their foils that come in the tubes, and these are 6 by 12 inches. So this is a great size. You get 5 sheets in here, so you get at least 10 projects with these. And they also have these brand new Harmony color transfer foils that have designs on them. Hi, Bonnie. So these are super fun, and you get like 4 patterns in every package, and there's 20 pieces in here. So these are fabulous. I thought maybe I might try the green and teal today. But there is also the fancy foils with Gina K, which I absolutely love. So there's a great variety of foils to choose from. I am going to put down a couple craft mats because I actually forgot to grab, when you're doing this, you want to grab a pan filled with warm water so you can put your stencils in there right away. I forgot to grab that, so I'm using a couple different, I have 3 sheets of craft sheets here, so that when I wipe them down with my baby wipes and stuff and my spray bottle of water, it doesn't go everywhere on my counter. Isabel, you haven't seen the plush paper? Yes, you're going to love it. So I've already turned my laminator on, and I'm going to start with, I think I'll do the circles. And you want some painter's tape or washi tape to hold things in place. And I'm going to do it on black so it's easier for you guys to see. I have a variety of papers here, but with the black, you're going to be able to see it much easier. So I'm going to put my black paper down. And this is just a half sheet. So it's a half sheet of 8.5 by 11. So it's 8.5 by 5.5, which works well when you're doing this. I have done it on smaller pieces too. I'll show you that. And that works well, so you're not wasting any paper. But for the camera, I just think it's better when you guys can see everything. So I'm going to place this down kind of in the center. And then you could use like a pixie spray on the back of your stencil so it stays securely in place to the paper. But I'm fine just using painter's tape or washi tape to hold that in place. So I'm putting it there and there. I'm going to put a little piece on each side too, because I don't want it to move at all, right? It's best if it doesn't move. And the painter's tape doesn't hurt anything. So for the transfer gel, the lid is in there, the paper lid. And I'm just using just a little spatula. And I'm stirring it up just a little bit. It's not as important when it's a fresh jar like this, but when you get down to the bottom, you just want to mix it up. And then just place it on there. And you're just going to put this over the entire stencil or the area you want covered. Maybe you don't want a whole 6 by 6. Actually, this is more like 5.5 by 5.5. The stencil is 6 by 6. but I'm just going to do the whole thing because that way you'll see it really well. And it's okay if you go off a little bit on the sides because you're only using the design. And I'm just coming in here and making sure I get it all covered. The great part about this transfer gel is whatever excess you have, you can put it back into the jar. It won't contaminate anything and you can reuse it. So there isn't any waste, which I love. So here I'm going to start coming across and putting that excess into my jar. So I'm coming across with a light hand. You don't want to like scrape it and pull everything off that is in the stencil area. So I'm just coming across with a light hand and putting all of that excess back inside. And right there, that seems to be a little light to me. So I'm just going to put a little bit more there and there, and then just come in again and wipe it. Now, when you're done, you want to be sure and use a baby wipe or a wet napkin, something to, okay, put all of that excess inside. And then come across with something wet. I always use a baby wipe just to go across your rim. This is good to do also like with paint, because if you put the lid on and you don't use it for a long time, it sticks and it's very hard to get off. But that way it's easy to remove. And then wipe it off your palette knife too. And then I'm going to just remove the tape. And I have a trash can really handy right here. So I'm able to put the one piece, the first piece I took off, I put it on the edge of my counter because I can reuse it. Like this piece I can reuse. But once it has some of the transfer gel on it, I don't want to reuse it. But these pieces I can easily reuse. And then going to lift that one carefully and then peel this away. Isn't that cool? I just love it. And you can see it really well on here. Now this has to dry at least an hour. And when it's dry, it will be clear like this one. So depending upon, I think, where you live, the humidity, so many factors, but generally it takes about an hour. And they say if you're using the flocking, you want to use that, you want to heat set that or use the die cutting machine to transfer within 12 hours. I haven't waited longer than 12 hours with mine, but that's what ThermoWeb suggests, to do the flocking within 12 hours. So just be aware of that. And like I said, I forgot, normally I would have a pan here of water and I would throw this right inside that pan. But I forgot to grab that. So I'm just wiping it really good right now on both sides with a baby wipe. and I'll put it under running water after my live is over. But you don't want to leave that on your stencil at all, because it would be very hard to get off. You can also do this with rubber stamps. And I've had mixed results because of the stamps I'm using. So I'll show you some of that in a bit. But for right now, moving my wipes out of the way, I'm going to bring my laminator in for the fun stuff, right? So I have this one here with the stars and the black. And I'm going to use this starry silver. And I'm just putting it on there. I'm going to turn it over and cut off the excess. Because as you know, I save all these little pieces. And I'm going to show you why that's important and what you can do with some of these also. So I'm just cutting off some of the excess. And I'm just taking a piece of copy paper and placing it inside my copy paper. You can use, I know ThermoWeb sells sheets that go through the laminator, but copy paper just seems to work really well for me, and it's very inexpensive. So I'm going to run that through, and I'm going to run it through twice. And then I'll show that to you, and then I will do one with the plush. So I'm going to do the plush on the back too. And for the plush paper, I think I'm going to use this teal because I know it's pretty with the black, because that's why I did a sample in, and it is very cool. So that is, sometimes these stick together, so you want to make sure you just have one piece. And for the plush, you take your transfer gel and place the sticky part onto the fuzzy side of the plush paper. And I'm going to cut just a little bit of this off on the two ends. And put it in another piece of copy paper and run it through while we take this one. So for this one, and my paper is sticking a little because I got a little bit of the transfer gel on there. And did you use ordinary black cardstock? Yes, just 110 pound is what I have. And isn't that beautiful? So you can take any of your stencils and do it on cardstock. Isn't that beautiful? So I'm going to run the plush through a second time. So after I had done it on black, and I have white paper here too, I'll show you. But then I thought, I have beautiful papers with Emerald Creek. And I thought, maybe I should try the transfer on one of those really pretty papers. So I actually had some small pieces because I have a lot of pre-cut pieces in my studio. So before we do the plush, so can you see right there? There's the stars. Hey, Rebecca. Hey, Dorothy. So you can see the stars on there. And I think I'm going to see what's in my little drawer where I keep excess. Not sure I'm gonna like this, the gold with it. Now this gold would be pretty. Okay, I'm just gonna cut a piece. And I already used that, so maybe, but I really think the silver would be the prettiest. So I'm going to use the silver again, just because the silver stars on that blue background would look really nice, I think. And so I'm going to put that down. And these papers are double-sided. Kim is making them in smaller packs of 6x6 instead of 12x12, and they'll be single-sided. But this is from the 12x12 pack, so that's why it's double-sided. And I chose the side that I thought would be the best for that star stencil. So I'm going to run this through. While that's going through, we're going to take, hi Beatrice, I'm going to take the flocking off of here. So this is just plain black cardstock, and I stenciled with the transfer gel. Let it dry for at least an hour. And then, oh my goodness, isn't that cool? So it pulls that flocking off of this paper, and then you have a dimensional paper with that flocking. Hey, Helen, I just think that's so cool. So that's this one. And I also did it with the hexagon design. And the flocking, it's called plush paper, and it comes in so many colors, but that's just cool. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see, but you can feel the plushness of it. So you can feel the flocking, and it is dimensional. And that is just cool. And then you have this left, which would be cool for a card base too. You know, you just have to straighten that out. But that would be cool for a card base also. So no waste, right? I'm going to run this through a second time. So I have this one I did with another piece of my pattern paper. So this is the hexagons. Will you be able to use the negative that's left, Isabel? I don't think you could. I mean, you could try and put this on something else, but the part that's already pulled away, I'm not sure if the pattern would show up. But I think this would be really cool just as a card base itself, because it's kind of the reverse flocking. So for this one, I wanted to try the green, even though this is green. This is a different color green. So I thought maybe it might, you would just see the background with it. Maybe that's too close. What do you guys think? I could use the pink with it also. You guys tell me. Should I use the pink or the green? And I'm going to undo this one for you guys. Okay. Oh my goodness, it covered the whole thing. That shouldn't happen. That is strange. I'll have to find out why that happened. So let's see what happens when I do it with, when I do the flocking on here, if it's going to cover the whole thing. The pink would be lovely. Okay, Isabel, I'll try that. That is strange that covered the whole thing. Because it shouldn't. It's just kind of weird, but that's why we play, and that's why we find things out. Hey, Lynn. So I'm going to trim some of this excess flock off. And run this through. I don't think it matters which way you have it, but I do know for the flocking, it's said to run it through twice, which works perfectly because I always run everything through twice with this laminator anyways. So here is the hexagon just on plain paper. So, and this is pre-cut. Like, I keep a stack of these. Like, I just have a stack of, like, when I'm die cutting something out, if I'm cutting this scallop rectangle, I'll cut like a dozen of them just so I have them on hand for quick cards. It just makes sense to me. And then I wanted to try a piece of this Harmony transfer foil. So let's try that on this. Actually, I have a big piece, so instead of wasting any of this and having to cut it, let's use this bigger piece. Now, like I said, you get the 4 patterns in this package, which is kind of fun. And just going to pull it out like that. So there's that lined one, the plain kind of emerald green. The I don't remember if that's called sea glass green. I love that one. And then there's a teal. Let's try this fun lined one. Move this out of the way and put this one through. I want to put it all the way to the edge so I can just trim that little bit off. And if you had a bigger piece of copy paper, I just took an 8.5 by 11 and folded it in half. But if you had an 8.5 by 14, you wouldn't have to trim that extra off because your paper would extend beyond that. So put that one in there. So let's see if this transfers to the whole piece. It didn't. Okay, that's good. So you can barely see the green in the background, but it's kind of cool. So you could do pattern paper or any color cardstock, but you can still see that plush of that, the flocking of that plush paper. So I want to show you guys, I used one of my stencils. I used this American flag and put it on white cardstock. And I didn't have enough red foil to do it in the colors I wanted. But because I keep all of these, I had red foil from my Merry Christmas, and I just cut pieces of it. And these are all the little pieces I used. And I just pieced this one together. And then I used the blue for the stars. And isn't that beautiful? So you can use more than one color of foil to get the effect you want. But that's really cool because I don't have this as toner paper. But as a stencil, you can use any of your stencils. And if they're pieced like that, you can just put the different colors. So I put this here. And then I just took all the little tiny pieces of the red and I just pieced it to fit all those lines. I even have little slivers because when I cut, I maybe missed a little piece, so I wanted to capture all of it. But that is so fun. And see, that would be great for the front of a card, or this would be great for if you wanted to create a banner. That would be great because you could cut your banner pieces out. So I know I say every little scrap, but that's why. And we'll put that one through one more time. And then while I was doing this, I thought, because I have all these little pieces that I saved, right? I thought, let me put some transfer gel just onto a piece of white cardstock. So I did that, and I put it out with my little palette knife, and then I took and squeegeed it onto here. So, I mean, it might not be covered perfectly, but I thought, I have so many cool pieces of foil left over from toner sheets and stuff, that what if I took a piece of this? So like, I want to see exactly where I have, not sure if you can see it, but I can see this is where that piece is regular cardstock. So if I took this and put this on here, I just wanted to see, like, this should transfer, and then you would have where the flowers are, they'd be white. They would have the transfer medium there, but still I thought that might be really pretty. So let's try that. I don't have sound when you're using, I didn't have sound when you were using the stencil. Is it a specific butter? Okay, so I used the Decofoil Transfer Gel Duo. I think this is the second version they came out. I don't know if they still have the regular transfer gel, but it's the Duo that I used. So we're going to run this through and see what happens. Isn't that fun? That's so fun. I mean, you guys, you know I love foiling, but this just kind of expands it to where you can use your stencils with this, and it just makes it so much fun. So I'm going to show you an experiment I did with one of my rubber stamps, right? After this comes out and I can run that through again. So I wanted to try it with rubber stamps. So I took one of my background stamps from Unity Stamp Company, and this is the Hollies. How long do you let it dry? An hour at least, Dorothy. And if you're using the plush paper, you have to use it within 12 hours, they say. So this is what I used. I used a stencil brush to apply. You know, I used the transfer gel and I applied it on here with that. And this is what it turned out like. I don't think I got it on there thick enough. I mean, to me, it's kind of like mixed results. So I'm going to have to play with it more. And this stamp is very detailed in that it has all the lines and everything. So if you had a fuller stamp, I think it wouldn't be, you might get better results than I did. So this is what it looked like when I foiled it. And this is with this foil that has the gold and the green and the teal in it. So you can see it like when I move it around like this, you can see it everywhere. But when you look at it right from the front, I feel like this has less of the transfer medium. So if I made a card with this, I would make sure that I would maybe do it this way, and then I would put a band across here with the saying Merry Christmas or something. But it is pretty. So it's something, if you have a lot of stamps and you want to play, maybe this is something you want to play with. But if you're going to use your stamps, immediately put them in water. And I actually used a brush like this to sit and scrub my red rubber, you know, to get all of that gel out of those crevices, because that gel dries clear and you don't want it left on your stamp, right? I mean, you want to scrub that and get all of that off of there. But I also did it with the flocking. So here it is with the flocking, and see, again, I can see right here along these edges, I didn't get enough of the gel. So it's something to play with if you got some really cool stamps and you want a different look, you know, with them. But it's, you know, it's worth a try. And like I said, this one right in here, I don't think there's enough. I'll put a piece of foil on it so you guys can see. I'll gladly grab a piece of foil if I can find that same package I had. We'll just use this green right there. And I'm going to take this off. And we'll put this one in. But honestly, if you guys have like some stencils and this and just cardstock, sit and play for a couple hours. See what happens. You know, you'll get some beautiful results. So again, this is the one where I just used the squeegee. I took the palette knife, put it on, and then I used the squeegee to apply it to a piece of white cardstock. And because I save all the leftovers, I wanted to see what this would look like. And I'm not sure. I didn't know if some of it would stick. Isn't that fun? Then you have a white background for the inside of your flowers. What was the name of the jar? It's Deco Foil Transfer Gel Duo. I'll put one of our affiliate links in here for that, Beatrice, after I'm done. But yeah, isn't that fun? I mean, think of the possibilities, because if you're foiling anyhow and you have the leftover, if you don't have black toner paper, this is so fun. And this isn't sticky the way I thought. Okay, it might be sticky with the gel still left on there, but it's not. It feels, you know, like there's a film on there. But how fun is that? So I have a little piece of this left. I don't know if I have enough for my Merry Christmas. I don't know if I'm going to get the whole thing on there, but let's try. I'm going to put it up a little higher. I don't think I'll get the T in there. I don't think, I'm not sure that I'll get the bottom in there, because I didn't do this like the whole sheet. But let's try that. And that's what's fun when you have your supplies out anyhow, to just play. This would be so pretty if this works. So this is the stamp. And remember I said it didn't transfer as well as I would have liked. So it's still pretty. I mean, anything with foil is still pretty, right, guys? I mean, it is. I can see a little bit in here where it's not as nice as I'd want, but still, I wouldn't throw this away. I would use this, whether if it wasn't a card front, you could still use it for other things. You know, you could die cut pieces out. You could create different colored flowers with colored cardstock. Yes, Isabel, you could. Wouldn't that be pretty if this was on, let me grab it, if this was on pink cardstock? So you had the gold on the edges and in the center, and the rest was pink. That would be beautiful. Yes, Lynn, it would work perfectly for tags. So, right, I mean, when you've done the work, even if things don't turn out exactly the way you want them, don't throw them away. You can always use them for something. I don't remember if I put this through twice, so I'm going to put through one more time. But it's just fun to be able to try different things with most of the products you have anyhow. If all you need to buy is that transfer gel. And I opened this jar at the beginning of doing this demo, but everything else I did, plus I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more done right here from a jar that I had half open, and it was getting low, so I wanted to open the new jar. So there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I have about 15 that I did. And it was, the jar was partly empty. Now remember, I'm going to pull this. I don't think that bottom part's going to show up, but the rest of it should. Oh, well, it's kind of distressed. It does it does show up, except not all of the C. But see, if I had, because there was no transfer gel here. If I had the transfer gel on the whole thing, that would be beautiful, because you would have the white Merry Christmas with the gold background, or the red sparkling background. So that would be very cool. But I knew I didn't have the transfer gel all the way on this, but still, that's another way that you can play with this, you know, and test it out and see, just try different things, right? I'm going to switch my camera up as I move stuff off my chair so I can sit back down and turn my computer back toward, so I can see. There. So what do you guys think? Use a red sparkly pen to fill in the bottom of the C. Yes, you could do that. You know, there's so many things you could do. So, but oh my gosh, how much fun. And the flocking is so cool. I didn't have any black flocking, but I thought if I had black flocking, it would be perfect on a craft colored cardstock. And then you had the black flocking. That'd be so pretty. I think the Christmas foil looked cool, partially completed as is. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, you never know. Looks cool with the stencils and the flocking. Yes, I agree. I mean, and I know I played with this a couple years ago, but I never really had time to sit and play. So that's why I thought, let me get this out, grab my stencils. And I had a lot of that flocking, and I thought, let's just see what happens. And, you know, I love it with the stencils. I mean, and you guys all know that I love foiling anyhow, but this expands, you know, if you don't have all the toner paper, but you have a bunch of stencils, you know, so you can still do the foiling. And like I said, I did it with a laminator, a hot laminator, but you can use your die cutting machine and do a sandwich and run it through your die cutting machine, because the pressure of the plates and the rollers will transfer the foil or the plush. I haven't done it, but I've seen ThermoWeb has videos on it and stuff. So, and they recommend it on the back of the package for the plush paper. So it's just easier for me to grab my laminator since, you know, and for those of you that have been watching, see my studio is like almost all put back together. I don't have anything on the floor anymore. But it's quite lovely to have everything picked up and cleaned off and sorted. I think I need to get out my foils and stencil. Yes, Dorothy, you do. Get them out. You will have fun and share in our group. Share in our group. And let me see if I can find, I'm looking at some of our links. So I got a link for StencilGirl. I'll put in here for you guys. It's funny because I have my other screen way over there. And I had some of the links pulled up. So this is the link for those. Wish my craft space looked as pretty. Mine is a mess right now, Dorothy. Bonnie. Well, you know, it does take time. I mean, here is our affiliate link for the Decofoil Transfer Gel Duo. I had this torn apart. My whole room. I started with a closet. I do things with wood. I teach some local craft classes, and my project I'm doing is going to be pumpkins on wood. And I wanted to get to my wood. Well, I redid the entire closet, which led me to redoing every one of my little tiny, there you go, my little tiny drawers, all of my cubbies. I had everything out. And then I was having, my sister was coming this weekend, 3 of my kids and their kids. And it was like, my room was a disaster. So I had to very quickly put everything back. And I still have some things to go through, but it's so nice to have pulled everything off of all of these shelves, clean the shelf, put things back. Your studio looks great. My desk is a bit of a mess right now, trying to complete previously started projects. I also need to play with new stamps. New stamps are the best, right? They are so much fun. So remember to like, share, and comment on this video with hashtag BellaCrafts. And we are going to do a prize package filled with some stuff from ThermoWeb and maybe some other goodies for the winner. So the prize package will be anywhere from $50 to $75. So make sure you enter for that. Sometimes you just need to put things away just to know what you have. It's true. It's amazing what you find. I mean, I know the things I have, but sometimes like when you're cleaning and you just put everything into a bin and then you're looking for that, you don't remember what bin. So yes, it's nice to have things. I like organization. I mean, you could tell by my room in the fact that I have, okay, so I have all of these shelves, but you see that shelf right there? I have got 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves like that in my room. They're only 3 inches wide. My son made them for me. They're 3 inches wide so that I can put my stamp pads, I can put stamps, I can put paint, I can put things that I use all the time on there, but there's nothing behind. So I don't have to move everything to get to it. So I love those shelves. Actually, I have 5 of them because I have one that holds ribbon. So it has dowel rods. and the dowel rods go into grooves that hold ribbon and washi tape. They're perfect for crafting. They are. They are. And I am blessed to have, I have this room and I have my sewing room. I'm blessed, but we had 5 kids. So we still live in the same house. And we have, you know, lots of extra bedrooms. We still have guest bedrooms, but this works. And my husband would say I spend way too much time in this particular room because I'm in here when he leaves for work. I'm in here when he gets home. But it is my job. So I said, make sure you hashtag Bella Crafts to enter for next week's contest. You have a very talented son to make those for you. I do. I mean, he now builds things. So yes, he is very talented. He for my pumpkin class I'm teaching locally, he will cut all of the wood for me. So I'm blessed that way too. Rebecca, you spend all your time in your craft room too. Yes, this, besides my patio in the summertime, that's my happy space, but this is too. My daughter tells me when she moves out, I should move my craft space upstairs to her, or when she moves out, I should. Yes, you should. I agree. I had this particular room when we first moved in was like a family room. And when my middle son, when he was a teenager, he wanted a bigger room. So we made this his bedroom. And then my youngest son took it for his bedroom. And then when my youngest daughter was the only one left, I said, so do you want that for your bedroom? And she said, no, Mom, make it your craft room. So I did. And then when she left, well, there's 4 bedrooms upstairs. So there's a guest room, a closet, and then my sewing room, which is also a guest room. But yeah, you should. I mean, if that's what you love to do and you're able to do it. I used to have all of my stuff like in totes out on the porch. I live in Minnesota. That porch would freeze in the winter. And, I'd go out there, get what I wanted, and I'd craft at the dining room table for many years. So once you're able to, if you can, it's nice to have everything out so you can just grab what you need instead of going through totes and digging for everything, right? Okay, so I have the name of the winner for the Pink and Main, which is a gift certificate. And I don't think I saw her in here. I mean, she could be here. But it's Maria Sheehan. You are the winner for Pink and Main. So if you could get a hold of us, we will get your information to Pink and Main, and they will send you out your gift certificate. We only need your email address, so they can send it to you that way. Well, thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. And next week, like I said, Lisa and I will both be back. She will be here at noon Central Time. I'll be here at 2. And if I knew, I'd tell you whose products we're working with, but I don't remember. Dorothy, I'm fortunate that I have space downstairs in our everything room where I can organize my craft stuff. Yes. I mean, wherever you can do it. I remember I used to do craft shows. And we have a pool table downstairs that my husband made these wood pieces that sit on top of it. So it could be a ping pong table, or it works really well like if you have a lot of people and they can eat around it. But I would have everything out because I used to make wreaths and all the things, and I would have all of my florals out and all the wire, and I would just sit and make them for like a couple weeks straight with that mess, and then I'd clean the mess up and it would be gone. Thank you, Lynn. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you try this technique. I mean, it's so much fun. And, you know, if you have stencils, any kind of stencils, I mean, you can see I used star backgrounds, I used circles, I used, you know, because a lot of my stencils are background based, and just try it and then put it in our group, you know, because we would love to see what you're doing. Thank you, Bonnie. And remember to take some time to craft because it's good for your soul. And Lisa and I believe that. And we hope to see you all next week. Until then, have a very creative week and have fun. We'll see you next week.